Okay, everybody, today on the podcast, we have a really exciting guest. We have Alex Williams. Now, Alex is a professional photographer and polar expedition guide, and he is one of the inspirations to me that got me on this photography and videography journey. We connected over Instagram, and since then, we've been on a couple of major trips together. He's an incredible guy, super knowledgeable, and some of the stories he has are just unbelievable. But before we start, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that 5-star button, like button, subscribe button, whatever it is, wherever you are, I'd really appreciate it. It helps us so much more than you know, and the more 5 stars, follows, whatever it is we get, the more incredible guests we can get on the podcast. Without further ado, my name is Harrison Brown, this is the Into the Mind podcast, and let's welcome Alex Williams. So you know how earlier we were talking about pivotal moments?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, and I was obviously saying earlier, I think one of the pivotal moments for me was going to Iceland.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I think that genuinely was that trip to Iceland that me, you, and Matty took.
Cool, man.
Photography wise.
Yeah.
I think has been one of like the key, like in my life at least. I think that probably was one of the pivotal things.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I remember calling you when I was with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
In the coach where you stayed when you came around, and I'd seen your picture of the whale, and I remember resharing it and being like, "Holy fuck, I want to do that." That is like crazy to me. And then I thought it was so unattainable at the time, but like you gradually moved towards it, and that was one of those, was one of those like pivotal points.
Yeah.
It's so cool how we've come.
How did we first connect? I mean, I just think it was messages over Instagram, wasn't it? We started following each other's work, and then
my work was shit at the time. I don't know what you saw. I don't know what you saw in me.
Your work was good, man. No, it was good. But I can't remember who reached out first, really. But I remember having the call with you, and it's good. Yeah, I like this one. And yeah, we organised our trip we did Skye first, and then we did Iceland. And you say that was a pivotal moment for you and your kind of your trajectory. Yeah,
I think it was. But there's so many. I mean, we were talking earlier, and you told a fascinating story about. So you sat beside someone in an airplane.
I was behind him. Yeah.
And that made you move to Peru.
Basically. Yeah.
Couldn't tell that story.
Yeah. So basically I was, this is the kind of like I would say like the pivotal moments or that changed the trajectory of my life. And it's funny how when you look back, you can piece together little footprints, and there are certain moments, that would have that. And this was definitely one of them. And I'd been living in Canada at the time. And I'd just been sort of hitchhiking, backpacking for a bit, and I was on my way to South America for my first time down there to carry on backpacking. So I was flying down from Toronto down.
So you fly into Peru?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was flying from Toronto. I think I'd gone from like Toronto to Panama, then connected in Panama, and Panama down to Lima. Now on the final leg of that journey, there was a lad sitting in front of me on the plane. And I didn't talk to him the whole way, like he was just there in front of me. And then as we were getting off the plane, he just asked me to pass his bag up in the overhead locker. And when he did that, I heard his accent, and I heard he was a Geordie, right? It was from Newcastle. I was like, "Oh, hey, man."
Unmistakable accent.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I was like, "Man, you're English, cool." And we just got chatting. So like me and him were chatting all the way to baggage claim. And the thing is, like, it's kind of like what I love when you're traveling is like you're in that kind of mindset, especially if you're traveling alone, is you are much more open and receptive to talk to people. And just being in that kind of mindset it's amazing the connections you can make. So yeah, I got chatting to this guy, and just because we were both in this kind of like, we just wanted to meet people and talk and connect. We just chatted all the way to baggage claim, and then took his contact, and we decided to meet the next day in Lima for a drink. Then we're having a drink in Lima, chatting away. And I've been talking a bit about my photography. Like I was just getting into photography at the time. Like I was literally like this, my first ever camera, which is just like beat up old Nikon I had with a cracked screen. I just hitchhiked the whole way across Canada with it, just practicing taking photos. And I told him about my photography, and I was really enjoying it. And I was kind of still teaching myself, learning. And he was like, "I've got a friend who has just moved to Cusco. And he has set up a business doing like photo expeditions. And he's like, look, if you want to meet him, I'll introduce you to him. Like he's just started this business, and he wants to like test out one of his tours. Like, do you want to join?" And of course I was like, yes, absolutely. I want to join. Yeah. So like 2 weeks later, fast forward, I reconnect with this guy in Cusco, and he introduced me to his friend Dan. So he's a French guy living in the city. and starting this business. And he took us on this little tour. We went up to this little remote community in the Andes, just beautiful. I mean, like no other tourists around, not a place really on the tourist route. And we stayed with the family there in like a little stone cabin.
Wow.
And we were doing like portrait sessions with like the family there, with these beautiful landscapes, like really traditional, really rural. And like I learned a lot from Dan as well. He was teaching me a bit of his photography process. So it's like I was gaining a bit of knowledge there. So yeah, really cool experience. Did all that. Then I carried on backpacking. So I went off for the next like 4 months, just did the whole loop around South America, like literally until my money ran out. So I spent...
I have no other option. I need to work now.
like basically, so I was in Buenos Aires, man. I arrived in Buenos Aires on like Christmas Eve. And at the time, the flights were so expensive to fly directly back to the UK. It made more financial sense to wait for a month in Buenos Aires and fly home in January, the end of January.
God.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I spent a month waiting in Buenos Aires. I ended up moving in with this Argentinian guy in his home in a beach town south of Buenos Aires, and he gave me a job selling bracelets on the beach so I could make some extra cash. I'm talking, it was desperate times, man.
Is there not a photo of you?
There is a picture, yes.
You like long hair.
Yeah, with my long hair. You've seen it on the beach. Yeah, so
all the bracelets.
the bracelets, yeah. That was that time. So I did all that and ran out of money, sold bracelets on the beach, made some more money, flew back to the UK. And I was like, right, what now? Like, I need to get away again. So I was back in my little hometown. I was living on this camp bed in my brother's front room. And I was just like, what next? So my big kind of plan was to learn to teach English as a foreign language. So I went and got a job. And literally, I remember my first paycheck, I had something silly like £2.37 in my bank account when I got my first paycheck. I was really out of money. Finally started earning money again. The plan was to save up, get a qualification, teach English, and then go and travel and do that. Because I just didn't want to stay around in the UK. I wanted to get out.
What was that? Before you go on, what was the catalyst for you saying, I don't want to stay in the UK, I need to get out of here?
So I don't come from a really nice place in England. It's not it's a bit run down. A lot of places, I get these seaside towns that are kind of past their best, and I always had a bit of a troublesome relationship with it. And so there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me growing up. I didn't know what to do with my life. Left school at 18, and the only jobs around were factories, man. So I left school and I started working in factories.
So it's like industrial town almost.
Yeah. It's a port town, and it was that was kind of one of the main things people did was factory work or work at the port as well.
Right. Yeah.
So my first job out of school was a box factory, literally making cardboard boxes.
That's awesome.
I did that for a while, and then I went to a different factory for 4 years, and I was doing electronics. So I spent 4 years in there, and basically I got to the age of 22, and for a 22-year-old sitting there, and you're around a lot of people who have been doing the same thing for say 40 years, the same repetitive task. I just kind of took a look around and I was like, nah, I can't do this, man. I can't do it. So I had a bit of I call it a quarter life crisis. I was like, I need to get out of here. Yeah. So I was like, I need to get out. So I kind of, I decided to run away, and I sold all my things and ended up moving to Canada. That's how I ended up in Canada. But yeah, that was kind of the catalyst. That was why I didn't want to stay in the UK, because I've never felt like I had much there. There was never a lot of opportunity, and I've had often a bit of a rocky relationship with the country, especially the part that I'm from.
And was there a spark when it came to the actual specifics of traveling? Was it that you wanted to get away but you didn't really know where you wanted to go, or was it more of a I want to go traveling to see the world and do what I love to do while doing it?
Yeah, I think it was a case of I just wanted to. I used to think of it as I want to travel, just for the sake of travel. I started reading a lot of books about people who were living in these alternative ways, doing different things. Into the Wild was a huge but for a lot of people, I think it feels like a real cliche to say that, because I think so many people of this generation watched Into the Wild and went, I've got to do it, man. Get out of society.
But the reason for that is that there's a genuine
connection for people, man.
Exactly.
People connected with that story.
Exactly. People connect to it for the reason that it taps into a fundamental human instinct.
Yeah.
And that's to be in nature, to be surrounded by, beautiful, natural stuff instead of screens and blue light and LED lights and office work and 9 to 5. It connects to people on a really deep level. And that's why I know people say it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's fucking accurate.
Yeah.
It hits it home for a reason.
100%.
And I think, it's difficult because a lot of people, you'll say you watched, the Walter Mitty was a big one as well.
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
But again, it might be a kind of funny movie in a lot of ways, and it's about this guy that fantasizes that's what Walter Mitty is. But it taps into a proper issue. A lot of people are in jobs that they really don't like. They want to do something, but they feel trapped. And it's about a guy that breaks through that barrier and at 40, 50 years old manages to travel the world and see it and actually experience life.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people want to do. They just can't get there.
It's hard to, yeah, exactly. It's one of those things, everyone connects with it, and it's kind of about taking a risk. We're used to not taking risks, and a lot of it is pulling the trigger, it's taking a jump. But risks get rewarded, and I didn't want to stay in that little comfort bubble. I just saw it as being a bit of a trap. And it's not for everyone. A lot of people, even people who think they want it, often probably couldn't go and live that life of like insecurity.
We were talking about that
earlier. Yeah. And it's not as easy as it might look. I think everyone always sees like the highlights reel of just like always on the move, always doing different things. But actually it comes
Here's a whale.
Here's a whale. But it comes with like, a lack of security or consistency, or, it's not as easy. It's not all the highlight reel it might seem.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people who see that, they probably couldn't do it, or people who might be able to just get sucked into the comfort and can't break through it. So it's something that I think a lot of people connect with, but not a lot of people follow through with. I think I just became a bit obsessive. For me, I just got obsessed. Like I've got that is my personality a little bit with certain things. Like either I'm like really into it, really interested, or just really not. And that really like it got a grip of me for a long time. It was things like Into the Wild and stuff like that. And I was reading like a lot of books at the time from different a lot of like philosophers as well, like that would have this kind of alternative way of thinking. And a lot of that then it just pushed me out, and it motivated me to do something different, to try and find that other way of living, outside of that norm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I found lots of different ways of living. I've done a lot of different things, and there's many other ways to be.
You were telling me about the fact that you were hitchhiking around with a friend, and you got into a van and they were smoking meth.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Do you remember this?
Oh wait, hang on.
What happened?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were hit. This was
How weird is that I can remember that?
That was
What happened?
I've not told that story in a long time, but you're right. Yeah, so I was hitchhiking.
Tell it live,
I was in
brother.
Banff. Yeah, no, I was in Banff. So I was living in Banff at the time in Canada, and me and my mate decided to go hitchhiking over to Jasper. So between Banff to Jasper, there's a road called the Icefield Parkway, and it's like, have you been?
I've been to Banff, but we didn't manage to get down to Jasper.
Mate, okay, so
Banff was
it's stunning.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So like probably the most beautiful road in the world is
to Banff Jasper.
Banff Jasper. I mean, it's called the Icefield Parkway, and it's just like jaw on the floor, just beautiful.
Right. Okay.
So me and my mate decided we wanted. He's from Manchester, actually. A lad called Ollie from Manchester, great guy. He was a good mate of mine. And we hitchhiked to Jasper, spent the night there, and hitched back. So we hitched all the way there, no problems at all. And then on the way back, we were waiting for quite a while, like for a ride. So it was like an hour and a half. No one's picking us up. And eventually this truck swings around, and these two people invite us in. They look a little bit sketchy. We were like, But at that point, we were waiting for so long. We were like, beggars can't be choosers. Let's just get in. Let's go. So we jumped in, and straight off the bat, they were smoking meth whilst driving. Like,
so did they just like the guy's driving and he just lights up?
Literally. Oh yeah, dude he's driving while sucking on his meth pipe. 100%. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So at that point, like me and Ollie are like, okay, like strap in.
Yeah.
But we needed a ride home, So
and what do you even say?
The thing is, if you're hitchhiking with people, you got to be as agreeable as possible. You don't start arguments. Like you learn it. I've done a lot of hitchhiking. You don't touch politics, religion. You just smile and nod and agree. And the point is, you've got to make connections with people, and you've got to make them feel comfortable with having you in their vehicle, but also like you just want to make your life easier there too if they're a little bit odd. I've been with some odd people in their cars before, so like you just want to make things as like easy as possible, mellow. You don't get everyone riled up. You don't want to risk that because you can end up in weird situations. So you just got to be as chill as possible. So yeah, it was just you just get on with it. You don't say anything. Like, cool, that's great. Enjoy your meth, guys. Cool.
That looks great.
So these guys, what happened? Like, there was a couple of things. Oh yeah, we stopped off at like some like tourist like shopping area at one of like the glaciers, and we went in there and went to the bathroom, and then we came back in the car. The guy just like stolen a bunch of stuff from the gift shop. he just had like a bunch of stuff in his pockets. He started getting it out, giving to his girlfriend for presents. He had this pair of like sunglasses that were all like purple and blingy and sparkly. He puts those on.
Oh my God.
Let's go. Hits the road, and we're just like, okay. So then we carry a little further down the road, right? And we go to a beautiful lake. It's called Moraine Lake. It's one of the postcard lakes of Canada.
Stunning.
Unbelievable. So
Stunning.
we go to Moraine Lake, and it's just lovely. We're there, taking in the views. And the couple, they're like, oh, we're just going to go off and use the bathroom. So they just go off to use the bathroom. And I'm there with my mate Ollie. And then Ollie's like, yeah, I'm going to use the toilet as well. So Ollie goes to the bathroom, and I'm waiting. And I'm waiting on my own. And eventually I see Ollie coming back towards me, right? And he's got this big grin on his face. And I'm just like, Ollie,
What's happened?
what's happened? And he's like, they're screwing in the toilet right now. These two were banging in the bathroom
like
at Moraine Lake.
They're like the most public toilets you can think of as well.
Shocking. And they weren't being subtle about it either. Like, they weren't being subtle, apparently. Yeah. So,
Oh my
so we're like,
God.
oh, cool. So then, then we wait for a little longer. They turn up eventually. And then we hit the road, get back to Banff, and cheers, happy days, done. Got home. Yeah, that's a fun story.
Did you learn stuff from that? You were saying there, like when you're in these cars with random people, you need to be very agreeable, don't touch politics. Was there life skills that you picked up from that? Because it takes a fucking lot for someone to step out of their comfort bubble in order to hitchhike, especially when you've got the news that are saying you're going to die tomorrow if you do anything wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear mongering around hitchhiking. I mean, it's always mostly been fine for me. I've not had any trouble before. Life skills, yeah. I mean, like, I think one of the things you really have to do when you're doing that is like you have to develop connections really quickly. So you learn how to build rapport quickly with people because, like I said, like you want them to feel comfortable with having you in their car, but also by them feeling comfortable makes you feel comfortable too. And also on a slightly more kind of selfish note is if somebody likes you, they're going to do more for you, or they're going to give you things. They're going to give you food. Maybe they'll give you somewhere to stay for the night. Maybe they'll look after you a bit, like, so it's in your best interest to like be nice but be charming, develop a rapport, build a connection quickly and get them to like you. So that's definitely like a very applicable life skill. The other thing I always talk about when I'm talking about hitchhiking, because everyone knows if they're talking about hitchhiking, the big kind of philosophical overarching thing I talk about is it's like a lesson in gratitude.
Right.
Because you're in a position where you have nothing, right? You're by the side of the road, you've got absolutely nothing. So everything you get from then is a bonus. It's like someone picks you up and they buy you a coffee. It's like the best coffee you've ever had. Like I've had times where like I've been on the road for like 2 weeks and I've been sleeping in the bush by the side of the road. I've not showered. And then like someone gives me a hotel room for the night and I've got a bed and a shower and it's like, it's the best. Like it's a lesson in gratitude, which is really cool. So that's kind of one of the experiences that I like about hitchhiking. And I've done a lot of it like in various places in the world, including in Iceland when we were there.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Isn't that incredible though? Like when you think about, there's so many people that are so comfortable in their life that they don't change anything and they never experience that gratefulness for something just like an actual toilet. Yeah. Having, when I was in Sulawesi, whatever, there's a hole in the ground.
Yep.
There's a hole in the ground and there's probably no toilet roll.
Yep.
And you've got a bucket of water.
Yep.
Deal with it.
Yep.
And just going from there to a toilet, it's magic.
Amazing. Isn't
it could be a 1-star hotel. I don't care. It's got a toilet. Wow.
Yeah.
And you're besotted by this.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get used to it again. Yeah. But putting yourselves in those uncomfortable situations, it gives you gratefulness for life. Like it really does. You see, when we go, when I go a huge hike, I did this hike to the most remote pub in Scotland. Have you heard of the Old Forge?
Yes, I have heard of it. Not been there.
Have you done it? No.
No. It sounds cool.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable hike. So it's beautiful as well. Stunning. So you hike the Glenfinnan Viaduct, the Harry Potter Bridge.
Yeah.
We're going to go past it tomorrow.
Cool.
Probably. So the Harry Potter bridge, you essentially go underneath that.
Yeah.
And then you're hiking through the mountains, the most remote mountains, for essentially 2 to 3 days. And there's nothing there. I mean, there's one bothy, and that's it. But because there's only one bothy, it fills up. Anyway, we were hiking through there, torrential rain for 3 days. And you see just getting to a hostel after that. It's like a shithole hostel. It wasn't nice.
But it felt so
my
good.
God.
Yeah, you're grateful for it, right?
When you have blisters in your feet and you haven't showered for 3 days and you've been sodden in the tent for 3 days, your sleeping bag's moist.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting attacked by a midgie. Everything's going wrong. And then you get into this, like, you know, people would, you know, it's not great.
No, but
wow.
yeah.
It's incredible to you.
Best thing at that moment, it's incredible.
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
I think a lot of people,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
it's a shame that a lot of people,
They don't experience that.
they miss it.
Yeah, they do. And it's amazing kind of, I had the same thing when I got back from Peru. So obviously I've been living in Peru. And then when I finally came back to the UK from there, I had this very basic apartment when I was living there. I didn't have a fridge. I didn't have a cooker. So I was making do with like a gas stove when I was cooking. And so I kind of, you get on with it. You get used to it and you adapt, you know, with not having the same amenities before. And you can get on very well with it. But when I came back to the UK, having a fridge and a freezer and an oven was like the height of luxury. Like it was like magic or something. It was incredible. And again, it feeds into the same thing. It's just like by learning to live without those things, it just, it's amazing gratitude and just gives you that kind of sense of like, we're pretty lucky, you know?
I think that you kind of feel it when you're away from your phone.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like, at least in my experience, my phone will suck fun out of everything.
Yeah.
Like really, I really struggle with social media. It just kind of sucks the life out of stuff.
Yeah.
Then you put it away and you realize that real endorphins come from actual stuff.
From actual real things, like being in the outdoor world. Yeah.
Exactly. I was telling you about that. The girl I'm dating gave me a book.
Yes.
And I was actually really grateful for that because
it brings you back into the real world. Yeah. Having a book to read.
Yeah. And, you know, your brain is an incredible tool. Just put it to work.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you can read words on paper and have a full blown vision of something in your head.
Yeah.
Is incredible.
Yeah.
But so many people are lost in the algorithm. They just never see that.
Just doom scrolling, yeah. Which is it's very passive. It's like when you're doom scrolling and you're watching TV and stuff, it's a passive activity for the brain. You're just absorbing information. But when you're reading a book, you're engaging. You're getting the information out, and it's encouraging the imagination. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like reading. I've not been the best. I used to be a big reader. And I've been rubbish lately. I've gone through phases where I've been terrible at reading. And again, like
you've been busy though.
Yeah, but also like all of us, I fall down the rabbit hole of doom scrolling, man. I always, it's funny sitting here talking about like, oh yeah, doom scrolling is terrible, but it's like I also do it, man. Like I do it too, you know. And like no one's perfect, but like I also recognize that it's not good, and it's I do want to read more. And I've been better lately at reading, but it's just so much better for the brain.
Oh, so much better. Do you read when I know that you recently actually won an award for your photo of Mount Everest?
Yeah.
See, when you're waiting for those, because actually explain how you got the photo first, because people won't understand how you've actually got the photo, because you need to wait for a long time, right?
Yes.
Chisholm Hunter are an interesting company because Chisholm Hunter are the place to get your luxury watches or luxury diamonds. Whether it's a Tudor watch like I've got on at the moment, or a Tag Heuer, or potentially a pre-owned Rolex, who knows what you're after, Chisholm Hunter is the place to get it. If you are looking for a luxury watch, you need somewhere that is trusted. You need somewhere that is family run, like Chisholm Hunter. They've been going for over 165 years, which is just insane. And unfortunately, in the watch industry, at least, there's so many fakes kicking about, guys. So many fakes. So it's really important to go somewhere trusted. And I trust Chisholm Hunter. So whether it's something for yourself or for a loved one, head to chisholmhunter.co.uk. That is chisholmhunter.co.uk. And if you do this right now and use the discount code CHSUB, that is CHSUB, you get an exclusive 10% off your first purchase on selected lines. That is CHSUB on the chisholmhunter.co.uk website, chisholmhunter.co.uk, chisholmhunter.co.uk. And without further ado, let's get back to this conversation.
Yeah. Oh, so that photo there, that was, so I'd been trekking, I think 24 days trekking alone in Nepal for that. So I was,
my God.
on my Todd, literally just lugging my camera gear, my bag all up into the Himalayas. I started in the foothills, quite low down from a town called Jiri, then hiked up, did the 3 Passes trek, and then up to Everest Base Camp. But
The 3 Passes trek, is that where the avalanche hit a very long time ago?
that was down at Everest Base Camp where that came down. If I remember, don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. I think it was Everest Base Camp where that big.
It probably was a bit higher up then, because it must have been.
I mean, the high passes are higher than base camp itself, but it was the valley where it would have come down the valley, I think.
Right.
Again,
okay.
don't quote me on that. I think it was Everest Base Camp.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was hiking in that area, and yeah, what ended up being like one of the kind of pinnacle moments. It was there's an amazing viewpoint called Kalapatar, which is kind of near Everest Base Camp, but like up on one of the hills, and you've got this like incredible vista of like the full valley below. You've got Everest, and you've got all the mountains around it. You got Lhotse, Nuptse, all that stuff. It took me like 4 hours. So I sat there alone on this little viewpoint, like freezing, with my camera out because I was doing a time blend. So what I was doing was capturing the foreground element of the picture. Because I didn't want the high noise ISO, high ISO noisy thingy for the stars, right? So I wanted to capture for better preservation of details. I was using a blended image, so blue hour for the foreground, so just after the sun has set and you've got a nice ambient light on the foreground, and then waiting for like hours for the stars to come out and shooting the sky separately. So literally in the same place, camera waiting there to shoot the sky separately and then blending it together in post. So it took me 4 hours just alone on this viewpoint after obviously trekking on this middle of this massive trek alone in the Himalayas. Then I was sitting there. I mean, I did it a few nights in a row. I was doing different viewpoints in the same kind of technique.
Different compositions, different
places. But that ended up being like the one that won the award. And that was kind of like the big pinnacle shot of the whole trip.
Was it the pinnacle to you, or was it just the pinnacle because that one won the award?
No, for me, it was like the personal high point of the trip. It was it was just like the moment where I got that like crazy view of all the highest peaks, in the world, and it was an amazing moment.
Is that your favorite photo that you've ever taken?
It might be. Recently I've started describing it as being my favorite photo I've taken after that trip. Yeah, I did tell quite a few people I think it was my favorite picture I've taken.
Wow.
But I've got lots of different pictures I like for different reasons. But that one, I think because of the journey that went into it, because it was just like such an epic trip, just being alone in those mountains for that amount of time. And I did it during December as well. So it was like there was no one. What
temperature was it?
Really cold at night.
Minus Everest.
Minus quite a lot. It was, the daytime was fine. So it's like really clear days. In those months, it's like you get these like blue skies, like totally blue. So when the sun's out, it's quite nice in the daytime. But the moment that sun goes, the temperature plummets. And it was well into the minus 15, minus 20, maybe, I don't know. But everything was freezing. Every lodge that I stayed in, it's like all the water would freeze. It's like you go to the toilet, you've got to break the water to get through, and like my water bottle, everything's freezing the water bottle. Every morning I wake up, I've got to defrost my water to drink anything. It's cold.
Yeah. And so is that your favorite shot for now? Like, do you think that will change? Because normally, I don't know if you found the same thing, but with me, I'll have a favorite shot and then I quickly hate it. And then I move on to something different.
Yeah.
And that's just the journey of trying to find new things.
It happens,
now I want a photo of X, and now I want a photo of Y, and now I don't like that photo anymore because I didn't use the right lens, or their shutter speed was slightly off.
Yeah, and you see all these little imperfections in the photo that you'd wish you'd done before, but
exactly.
you didn't. But all those pictures, they're just part of the process, man. It's all part of your journey as a photographer, and you look back now and you see those imperfections that you wouldn't do these days. But I think you got to embrace it as being like, this was how I was. And I wouldn't do it now, but it's an important part. I think you got to have a bit of love for your photos, even if you do see the imperfections. But to answer your question, is I do find that I do that sometimes. Like I have pictures which I photograph and I love for a long time. Then I turn around and I kind of like I do hate them at some point. I don't think that's gonna be one of them. I do have pictures as well that have always remained pictures that I absolutely love.
Cool. So they're the ones that can consistently show up.
Yeah, as being my favorites, and that one is going to stay in there. Like I don't see that dropping out of being that, unless one day I wake up and look at it and go, Not sure anymore. I doubt that's going to happen though.
Is the humpback whale one as well? Because you,
yeah, that's up there too.
For anyone that doesn't know, you have this is one of the photos that I remember sharing, when we first met 4 or 5 years ago, but it's this humpback whale breaching out the water, and it's a stunning photo, and you've nailed it.
Yeah.
And like to me, that is one of those bucket list photos that you just can't, like, that is the photo you're never going to beat. You can't beat that. How could you?
That's a cool shot. I am so proud of that one. So I took that my very first time going to Antarctica, which was like super special, going to Antarctica. One, because like breaching behavior isn't as common in the polar regions. They're not, I mean, if you go to the tropics and view humpback whales, they're really active. They're really playful because that's where they go to breed. So you'll find the humpbacks are really like breaching a lot. They're very, very interactive. They tend not to be quite so interactive or playful in the polar regions because that's where they're feeding. They come down to feed on all the vast quantities of krill that you have. Okay. So you do get breaching. Don't get me wrong, you get enough breaching. I usually see it each season I work down in Antarctica. But it's a special thing to see there. So for me, first time going to Antarctica, getting the dream bucket shot of a humpback full body breaching out the water. I mean, it's like, just the tails in there still. I mean, sometimes you get
that adds
just the top
to it as
comes
well.
out. Yeah, it was like a full body breach. It was just pretty special. And like nailing the focus, nailing the framing was hard. But yeah, it was. I remember I was floating around this little Zodiac, which is like a little boat, little rib that we use for operations. And I just photographed it. The whale was breaching a few times, and I'd gotten the shot, and I knew that I'd gotten it right. Like I knew I'd nailed it, but I was too scared to look in my camera. I had
if it was out of focus or something.
Yeah, it was like that moment where like I'd done it, and it was like in my head I knew I got it, I nailed it, but I was like, do I want to look?
I'll find something wrong with it.
Like I was like, oh. And then I was like, okay, breathe. I'm gonna have a little look. So I popped open the back of my screen, and it was like pin sharp. Oh man, the feeling, unbelievable. Like, that was.
What
cool.
lens did you use for that?
I think I shot that on a 100-400 Sony G Master.
Okay, so that was F. I'm gonna guess 5.6.
4.5.
4.5. Right.
Wait, I was at 400 mil, so it would have been f5.6. Yeah, that was shot at.
Because there's so many people now. I don't know if you find this as well, but there's so many people nowadays that keep going on about, prime lenses and low f-stops, and a lot of it, at least from my experience of talking to photographers and being friends with photographers and doing photography, a lot of it is situational. If you were at the right place at the right time, i.e., you need to fucking wait there for 8 hours, or whatever, you'll get a good shot. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be 2.8 aperture of 1.8. It's more about the situation. I mean, we were talking out there about that photo of my pal Andy when we were going down the mountain. Total fluke. Yeah. But it added so much character to the photo because there was the blur, it was the Monroe, it looked chaotic. Whereas now there seems to be this clinical, you need the best gear, you need the best, the
cleanest.
But it's almost like too sharp.
It's like I say, it's almost too clinical, isn't it? It's like
a hospital in a photo.
Yeah, exactly. It's too clean. It's like because the real stuff happens when it's dirty and it's out there and the stuff's happening. Like all the best photos from our time or from times before us have always been capturing like real moments, things that are happening, and it's not about how sharp the picture is or how low the ISO is. The more important thing is what the story is that the picture tells, the moment that it captures something really special, And we have got into this mindset, I think, as photographers now, where everyone's so obsessed with the sharpest and the cleanest photo. And there is some merit in that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love getting a nice sharp photo. I want it to look clean. I want it to look good. But I also think the real magic happens when it's a bit dirtier and a bit more like a sign that's properly happened, and it's not sharp, it's not clean. It's like your pitch, like you said, when you're coming down that mountain, and it was that moment that you kind of almost accidentally captured, right? And you've got that motion blur in it, which adds to the feeling of the picture. And you say that's the picture that's remained one of your favorites that you've never fallen out of love with. It speaks volumes. Really. It speaks volumes.
It was Corey Richards that was saying that it's not really about, it's about the emotion that it draws from you.
Yeah.
So he's got this really famous, actually I can get it up right now. He's got this really famous photo of it's essentially like a polar bear. And it's a polar bear, Corey Richards. Polar bear. It's a polar bear and it has a waterfall behind it. And he said, the reason that photo was one of my most famous photos is because it's fucking sad. Like you look at this polar bear and, you know, its world's crumbling around
melting glacier behind it.
Yeah, it's it's essentially
Tells a
dying.
story. Yeah.
It's not coming up now. Yeah, but it's essentially dying, and he was like, it's really sad. So you look at that and you are saddened.
It gives an emotional response.
There's an emotional response there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that a lot of the time is what photographers miss. Like they miss the fact that
there has to be emotion attached to it as well.
That's what it's about.
Emotion. Yeah, it's too clinical, like you say.
Yeah, and a lot of the emotion comes from actual activities, which I feel people don't do anymore. Because I feel like there's the comfortability bubble that you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
I can go to the side of the road in Glencoe and get a banger of that waterfall.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a banger because it's the photo. But the real emotionally driven stuff comes from pain, really.
Yeah.
So, you know, whether that's something really terrible that's happened, you've just lost. Olympic Games is just on the Winter Olympics. You just missed out on a medal and someone gets that painful reaction from you. That is a great photo because you can see it. It's tangible. You're about to get married. Someone gets a photo of you looking at your wife or your wife looking at you in a loving way. It's tangible. You can feel it.
People connect with it.
And I feel like that's just a lot of the time people miss that. They're obsessed with you took this picture, by the way, prime example, but like little person, big land, like, you know, that's a great photo.
Yeah.
But I now look at that and go, well, I can't really feel an emotion from that.
There's no emotion, no.
Yeah, like it's cool.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah. But also that's why a good, powerful picture is they're special and they're harder to come by because they are fewer and further between. If something that carries genuine weight and genuine emotion, those moments don't come all the time. So when you do find something that carries that weight, it stands out. You know, and it doesn't detract from the value of a picture, which is just good for the sake of a picture, which has a great composition, or it just looks cool. You know, like standing in front of an epic waterfall or something. You know, like they're still cool pictures. Not every picture has to carry the emotional weight of the polar bear in front of a waterfall. Because if every picture carried that weight, then they wouldn't have any weight, right?
Yeah.
If every picture had that emotional impact, it wouldn't mean anything anymore. So I think it's important to have the pictures that don't have that crazy emotional impact to value
the ones that do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How do you split that then? How would you take a photo with more emotion in it?
How would I take a photo with more emotion in it?
Like, how would you try and, go out with the goal of getting something with emotion in it instead of just the...
I don't think you can plan it, man. I think those are the moments that just happen. I think you have to be there. I think you can place yourself in the places where things are happening. If there is a time with, let's say, great political unrest, and you're going to photograph protest riots, something kicks off and you capture an incredible scene. I was telling you about that Chilean photographer earlier, who he was in the riots in Chile a few years ago, and he captured that incredible photo of with the one man waving the Chilean flag amongst just like fire and burning rubble and burn out cars. I mean, he went out there to capture the scene. That happened to be an incredibly powerful, emotive photo. And it blew up. It went crazy. And it was incredible. Partly it's luck, partly it just happens, but he also did put himself out there. But you've got to maximize your chances of getting pictures like that by going to things that are happening, but also there's a whole lot of luck involved in it.
Yeah, there's the guy that got that photo of one of the most famous photos ever now of Donald Trump when he almost got assassinated.
Oh, yeah.
It was, I mean, fuck me, you couldn't write
incredible photo.
You couldn't write it.
No.
Donald Trump with blood all down his face and the American flag in the background
behind him,
and him shouting fight.
Yeah, I mean incredible photo. Whether you agree with Trump or not, the picture was incredible.
Yeah, I know. I had this quote. I remember saying this to Blair Kinghorn. He's one of the Scotland rugby players, but I was saying to him that, luck is hundreds of hours of work seen for the first time.
Yeah.
So, like that guy that got that photo of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's probably put in hundreds of hours of work.
Yeah.
Just for the opportunity that when that came up,
that he got there. He was in the right place. He captured it.
Right place, right time.
And there was probably another photographer right next to him.
Yeah.
That captured maybe a split second later.
Exactly.
Or maybe got the same shot,
Yeah.
but didn't get out there first,
Yes.
which is also a thing. It's getting out there first.
Yeah.
So there's so many factors.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or it's like, yeah, but he'd engineered himself or kind of trained himself to do, you know, his fingers probably knew exactly where they needed to be on the camera.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And he knew exactly, raise the shutter speed slightly because blah, 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 blah. You know, he probably knew them autopilot. Yes. But that comes from hundreds of hours of doing this again and again and again and again and again. Yeah. And then eventually when the opportunity does come up,
you're ready for it.
You're ready for it.
Yeah. I think that's what I mean by there's things you do that you can maximize your luck. You maximize your chance of luck. But then ultimately the very last part is you have to get lucky. You know, you do all the things, you know how to position yourself where something might happen, you might capture the shot. You learn your camera off by heart. You know instinctively that you need to have settings like this to capture something that might happen and be there ready for it. And then when it happens, then you get it, you know. So yeah.
Where's the craziest place you've been?
The craziest place I've been? Oh man. I mean, crazy in terms of there's lots of different ways of crazy.
I suppose
there's that many crazy places.
Crazy places in like the most crazy stories or the most rogue places in terms of you just never expect.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say I've been to like rogue places. I've got some pretty fun stories from various places. Obviously, my time in South America yields some good stories. Living in Peru, you know, you never get like a dull moment there. And you know, I work in the polar region, so working in Antarctica is pretty wild. You see some amazing things, especially wildlife wise. It's absolutely incredible.
You were telling me about you were trying to film on a GoPro what's the emperor penguin swimming away from?
Oh no, it was a Gen 2 penguin. Yeah, so that was my last season working down there. We had an incredible encounter with a leopard seal hunting a penguin. So yeah, so leopard seals basically is
humongous.
They're big, they are big, and they're one of the apex predators of Antarctica. So you see, when you first see them, they'll be lying on an ice floe. They look really cute and cuddly, and then they open their mouth and they've got these like massive teeth, and they're kind of got this really like chunky reptilian-looking head. I mean, they're absolute beasts. But yeah, amazing predators, and they hunt penguins basically, and. If you see a leopard seal eating a penguin, it's
brittle.
Something you're not going to forget. Yeah,
right.
And
because penguins are so cute and cuddly.
They are so cute and cuddly. They're very charismatic, and you don't really want to see one getting. If you love penguins, you don't want to see one getting ripped apart by a leopard seal. But it was cool. No, so I've been waiting all my time working in Antarctica. I'd not seen this yet. It's kind of remained one of the last things I really wanted to see. So my last season there, I did get to see a full hunt and kill, which was, I mean, just incredible. So I was running a photography workshop with a guest. I had one guest had booked me with him and his wife. He'd come on to
lucky guest.
Yeah, sometimes it works out that way. You know, he'd booked a photo session, a photo workshop in the field with me. We were out on this little boat. His wife came along, and we were just sort of going around. We were photographing landscapes, you know, doing some photo instruction like that. And then all of a sudden, there was a little commotion happening in the water over there. And we're like, what's going on? So checked it out, and it was a leopard seal started hunting, started chasing a penguin. And so we stayed with it the whole time. So I had a guest with me for this private workshop with just this full viewing of the whole thing.
Violence.
Just a pure violence unfolding. So it started off, leopard seal, it was chasing this penguin, this poor little Gen 2. It would grab it, and it would kind of play with it a bit, and then let it go. Penguin would swim away. The seal would go after it. And I mean, it was playing with it for like half an hour.
So we're playing?
I mean, that's what I would assume. It wasn't killing it yet. It was just playing like a cat would play with its food, you know. It was weird, and it was kind of grab it, and then it would swim around with it, and then let it go, and the penguin was getting weaker and weaker, and eventually took it out. So when a leopard seal eats a penguin, it has to what we call deglove it.
Oh Christ.
Yeah, so picture that, if that conjures up a picture. No, so obviously a penguin's got very tough skin.
Yeah.
And the leopard seals, they're amazing. They're almost surgical with the way they approach it. So what they'll do is they'll grab it and they'll flick it back and forth with incredible violence, which will start pulling back the skin. So eventually it will just flip the skin off the penguin. It'll learn to skin the penguin so it can get to the meat underneath. And it's almost surgical. When you see like a fully degloved penguin, it's just incredible, like the work that the leopard seal has done to be able to remove that skin and start getting to the meat inside. So we saw this whole spectacle, which is absolutely brutal, but also an absolutely incredible thing to watch.
witness,
you know,
yeah.
privileged thing
It's
to
nature,
see.
and
Man.
it's at
nature.
its most brutal.
It's nature. It's most brutal. You know, whilst we have all this beautiful, lovely, wholesome stuff, you have to also understand there's another side to it.
There's a food chain.
There's a food chain, and there's a very real reality, and you know, it's just nature. It's doing its thing, and it was amazing. It was an absolute privilege to see. So I was very, very happy to witness that.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Have you seen polar bears? You've seen polar bears.
Yeah. Plenty of polar bears.
And how are they? They're terrifying.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with a polar bear. Those are scary animals.
I'm pretty sure they're the most aggressive.
They're one of the few animals that would actively hunt humans.
Yeah.
So we give them really wide space.
So when you get on a kind of rib almost.
Yeah.
And when you see the polar bears, do you just kind of keep your distance?
We keep our distance.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, the distance that we keep, it also depends on the regions that we're working.
Right.
So at the moment, we work a lot in Svalbard, which is Norwegian territory, a little archipelago up in the Arctic, where you get lots of polar bears. So they're quite restrictive with it. So obviously you have to respect the distances. They have a 300-meter rule if you work in Svalbard. So we have to, if we have a polar bear on the shore, we have to keep our ribs 300 meters away from it for viewing, which is pretty far.
Okay.
If you're working other parts of the world where they're less strict, you can get closer. Obviously, within reason, you don't want to disturb the wildlife, get too close to it that you're hassling it, spooking it, anything like that. So you always, if you're approaching, watch their behavior. If they start noticing you, if they start reacting, then you back off. You give it space, but you can get much closer than 300 meters.
How close have you been?
So I was in Svalbard like before the restrictions changed. I'm trying to think, like close enough, like within 50 meters. Yeah, from the water, right?
But they're good swimmers.
So if they get into the water, we leave them alone. At the moment they're in the water, we don't stay in the water with them. We get well away.
Why?
Well, just because they're good swimmers, they can come closer. There's not as much between us and them, so we always give them space. It's just one of the regulations that we run by when we're operating in the Arctic. So as soon as that polar bear's in the water, then we're backing right off. But if we have a polar bear on land, then we can approach within a acceptable distance, whatever that might be. But yeah, they're not an animal that I'd want to mess with. That's for sure. Like I remember one of the first ones I saw. It was my first ever contract working on one of the ships, and we were up in Svalbard. And there was this big male. He was sitting on top of the hill having a big fat nap. And we were going past, and at one point he did like lift his head up and he was looking at us. And I just remember like looking up at this big polar bear. And I don't know, it's intimidating. Like
you would kill me.
Yeah. Like you know when it's that primal fear. You know, you get that little
twitch.
Yeah. There was that little primal fear kicked in. I was like, yeah, this is an apex predator. This is a scary guy right now. Yeah.
And I think the scary thing about, grizzly bears or brown bears or polar bears is the way that they kill is
brutal. Yeah, they more.
I mean, the Revenant scene where he gets shredded is quite accurate.
They say that's probably the most accurate representation of what it's like to get mauled by a bear. Yeah,
and
can you imagine?
There's a point in that movie in the Revenant where it's so realistic. He's getting mauled by this bear, and it's. They're like knives in its hands, the nails, because the weight of it forcing it down, and it goes over his throat, and you see him like grab his throat, and
it's horrible. Yeah,
and it just bears are so beautiful, stunning creatures, but just terrifying.
Yeah, you give them lots of space, and you have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, and it is that thing about have respect for the wildlife. Don't be fucking stupid. And I see all these videos. my algorithm was really messed up for a while because me and my friend would just send each other really fucked up videos, and it just made our algorithm really bad.
Right, yeah.
And there was videos of people, I've just killed a bear because I saw it when I was out in the wild, and that's not right. It's a wild animal. Respect it, and don't if it's not. It's hard, I suppose, because for example, in Banff, a week after I was there, someone was killed by a bear on the path in Marine Lake.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Bloody hell! Yeah, okay.
And you're thinking, well, in that case, you probably do need to kill the animal because it's on a path that might bring harm to other people.
Yeah, they'll put the bear down if it's killed someone often.
But otherwise, you're like...
I know you get people who do the hunting thing. I don't know. It's a complicated issue. I'm not into it myself. I don't like the concept of bear hunting.
But
I know.
My thing is we're encroaching on their land. They're encroaching on ours.
Oh, yeah.
If we keep building the way that we are, the bears are going to have nowhere to go apart from to be with people. So obviously there's going to be more killings.
There's always going to be this conflict. And
Yeah.
also, yeah. And I mean, it's something we have as well. You know, we have operations obviously in the Arctic. And we are in the bears' territory, you know.
Yeah.
And but we obviously we have to have protection. We carry rifles. We have guards watching out, and everything to make sure the operation is as safe as possible. So if there's even the hint that there's a bear anywhere near the place we want to land, for example, we don't go anywhere near it. But the concept of having to kill a bear in defense is awful.
Yeah.
It's awful because we are in their land. You know, it's yeah.
Is that a law in Svalbard that you need to have somebody when you leave with a rifle?
You always carry a rifle. If you're leaving the town,
Yeah.
you always carry a rifle in Svalbard. So if you're doing any cross-country trips, if you're leaving, say, Longyearbyen, always have a rifle. If you're operating as a tour operator, 100%, because you're responsible for people. Obviously, if you're on your own, I don't know if there's laws. I know people, obviously, they do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a law or whether it's people who just do it because they're not stupid. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, because they
Yeah.
might get mauled by a polar bear. But
Yeah.
let me look it up on ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure there's I'm sure I am.
You get some places in the world where you have different laws. So if you look at Churchill in Manitoba, there's actually a law there. So this is in Canada.
Yeah.
And they have such a dense population of polar bears there that one of the laws in Churchill is that all cars must be left unlocked, because it means that if you're walking in the street and there's a bear there, you can just jump into the nearest car and shelter. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
the
that's the thing.
hell?
Yeah. seriously.
Really?
Yeah, true.
I mean, genius, but also car theft?
I mean, not that. If everyone's in on it, right? Like,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
knows. And yeah,
If it's preventing
someone getting
bear deaths.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Pretty
Wait,
wild,
so is there a law? Let's have a look at this just to fact check me, because I think, is there a law in Svalbard where you have to carry a gun if you leave town? I'm sure ChatGPT will figure that out for me. Right, let's have a look. It's always good to fact check just in case Okay. There isn't a general criminal law in Svalbard that literally says you must carry a gun. However, Norwegian or Svalbard safety and environmental regulations do require people traveling outside of the settlements to be appropriately prepared for polar bear danger. And in practice, that means carrying a suitable deterrent, often a firearm or a flare gun.
Yeah.
So essentially,
So it's not like a
it's not
punishable
forced.
offense. But
yeah, but don't be
kind of what I thought. Yeah.
don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid. Yeah.
Is there an animal that you've always wanted to shoot in terms of photographs?
Oh man, let me think. I would like to do underwater stuff. I mean, I've photographed whales plenty. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Like, photographed whales plenty, but I would love to get in the water with them. That would be really cool.
Mate, wait, I can show you this now. So,
Housing.
yeah, literally. So for anyone wanting to get into underwater photography, you need underwater housing. Underwater housing can be an absolute nightmare because it's very, very expensive. So there's something called Sea Frogs underwater housing, which is what this is, that is not as expensive. Part of the reason is because of this is
plastic.
Is plastic.
Yeah.
But as you can see on this, the scratches are not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is essentially what you do. And essentially, you put your camera in here and you unscrew this. You then get this little sucker thing and it sucks out all the oxygen in here. It sucks everything in. Yeah. And then that keeps everything in place. Screw that back on. And then that's your underwater camera.
Nice. Yeah.
It is relatively safe.
You're putting your thousands of pounds worth of camera gear in there.
I know, but I think that, like me, I think you'd love it.
Yeah, I need to get into it. It's just I get a squeaky bumhole thinking about it.
Yeah.
Taking my camera in the water.
Mate, so the first time I did mine, I took it into the bath. And I was
Tested it out in the bath. Yeah,
tested it out in the bath. But even then, you don't get the pressure.
No,
you don't.
yeah. As you go deeper, it's going to be way different, right?
Exactly. But like, you're the guy that introduced me to astrophotography.
Right.
I want to introduce you to astrophotography.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's going to open a whole new dimension.
Yeah, it would be really cool.
And also, it just looks sick. I mean, you're in the water like this.
Yeah.
It's really hard to swim with. It's very not dynamic at all. But it's super, super cool. Yeah. Like, honestly, underwater photography is one of the things that made me I was going to get my Paddy's diver's license recently. I didn't manage to get it, but I'm going to go back and get it purely because I really want to do underwater stuff.
Yeah.
Because especially in macro photography, the beauty of the coral.
There's so many details. Yeah, there's a photographer that I follow that does these like incredible like macro stuff underwater. Like, it's some of the most beautiful photography I've ever seen. The colors are unbelievable.
Stunning.
Yeah. If you have the right lighting set up too under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's when it starts costing a lot.
You get the strobes, all that stuff.
Yeah,
big investment.
See, I'm more of a natural light because I can't afford the real ones.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it costs a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, underwater stuff, that would be really cool.
So you think whales?
Yeah, whales underwater. I would love to do like bears in the salmon run. It would be really cool
Yeah.
to do. I'd love to do that. Going back to bears again. Yeah. There's a lot out there, man.
Yeah. What else? Because you've done the Arctic. Have you seen anything else going on, like hunting wise in the Arctic?
In the Arctic, not so much in the Arctic, to be honest. Bears I've seen feeding, it's always been just feeding on carcasses. So I've not actually seen real like hunting. I've seen some interesting interactions between curious bears and walruses, for example, which is kind of fun to watch. But never like hunting. Like a polar bear wouldn't ever really go for an adult walrus unless it was desperate.
Because it'd kill it with the walrus.
It's too much risk of injury with the tusks and everything. So generally they won't attack an adult walrus.
Walruses are disgusting looking.
They're amazing. They're my favorite.
I love them, but they look like big scrotums.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they certainly do. Yeah.
But they're humongous.
Yeah, they're big.
How much do walruses weigh? Let's see. 4 tons that's a car, is it not?
Yeah. They weigh a lot. What does it say?
Oh my God. So adult males, 800 to 1,700 kg.
Oh, okay, right. Not quite as much.
But that's Pacific walrus. An Atlantic walrus is 900 kg to 1,600 kg. Mm-hmm. And calves weigh about 45 to 75 kg. To put that into perspective, I weigh 82 to 85 kg. And I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
That's insane.
They weigh a lot. Yeah, they're dense, like just dense blubber fat. Obviously keeps them warm in the cold environments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those two attacking each other? Like, see when 2 walruses go after each other?
They do a lot. Like when they're all in the haul outs, like they're always disagreeing with each other. You know, they're all hauled out and they're like grumpy neighbors, right? So they start jabbing each other with their tusks. And they'll start fighting and, you know, going for a mate and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty fun. They kind of rear back on their backs and they start going at them with the tusks, and it's quite cool. Yeah, they're amazing. They're very expressive. They've got these whiskers that kind of like make all these like funny kind of expressions.
Pubic hair.
Yeah. They're so good. Yeah, they're brilliant. I like walruses.
What's the most embarrassing story you have from your travels?
My embarrassing story.
Yeah, I think you might have told me one, but I don't know whether I can say it here or not.
Maybe not. No, I probably skip that one. Maybe.
Have you got any stories that stick out as like, you know, it wasn't funny at the time, but you can look back in it and think, oh, that was pretty funny.
I once accidentally got myself smuggled illegally across Peru, which I was really angry with at the time. It's quite funny now, but I was really pissed off at the time. So.
Does that mean you can't get back without?
No. So this was during COVID when everything was all like shut down, and I honestly just wanted to book a legit bus service, but I ended up on a smuggle bus, which was quite annoying at the time. So here's the thing, right? I was living in Peru and I got locked down there. I spent 7 months in lockdown, and. Oh man! And then I was like, okay, time to go home. Like I need to leave the country. But at the time, I couldn't fly out of Cusco where I was living. I needed to get to Lima, but the whole country was like interprovincially shut down. Like you couldn't cross provinces without like proper permission.
Right.
And the stupid thing is, like I could have got proper permission because I was flying home. I was exiting the country, so I was kind of looking into it, and I knew I had to get all this kind of stuff sorted out. And then I got this contact for somebody who was running this bus from Cusco to Lima. So
sounds sketchy already.
Right. So
some guy sent me a number of a guy.
Basically. So I contact this person saying like, I want to book a space on the bus to get to Lima so I can fly home. And they're like, yep, that's great. You can book in. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to get my paperwork sorted. Is that right? Is that what I need? And they were like, no, it's fine. We're sorting everything. And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. But I was like, okay, I guess you're doing it every day. I'll just go along with it. I can't remember. Yeah, it wasn't that much.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much. But I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, got on this bus, met them in this place in Cusco. And first thing they gave me was this fake work permit saying that I was... It said that I was a computer programmer in Lima. They'd even spelt my name wrong on there. And I looked, I was like, what? That was when it dawned on me. That's when it sunk in that this is a dodgy, this is like a smuggle bus. They're getting me in illegally. So I was like, here we go. Great. So strap in. And the whole journey, it was 24 hours on this bus, right? And they crammed us all in there. And I mean, we were going overnight. There were police checkpoints.
I'm not scared of that. I mean, fucking hell.
It was at some point the driver, like the police were like checking in on us, and the driver got dragged out, and basically like they kept having to pay the cops off, right? So every time we go to the checkpoint, they were paying off the cops, bribes.
I didn't realize Peru was that bad for corruption.
So this sounds really crazy to anyone living in like the UK or somewhere.
Yeah,
it's really normal in South America.
Oh, Colombia was.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in Colombia, that was
many
the done
places
thing.
is like that. Yeah, you pay cops off. So that was what was happening. So we'd stop at a checkpoint, they would pay them off, and at some point there was like we stopped. It was the middle of the night. Everyone's exhausted, right? Bloody police checkpoint. Door opens, flashlight comes in. I'm just sitting there, just like, I want this all to be over. You know, I just want to get there and I want to get home. You know, I'm pissed off. I'm exhausted. Flashlights coming in. This one local guy was sitting on the bus and he starts mouthing off at the cop. Starts going, oh, you shouldn't come in here because you could have COVID and da-da-da. And the cop kind of like either mishears him or is like deliberately being difficult. So he's like, oh, you're telling me you have COVID. Okay. So he goes to the driver, says, you're transporting people with COVID, drags the driver off the bus, takes him away. Right. And so we're just like wondering what is going on. So we're just sitting in the middle of the road. This guy's been taken away. And we thought he's been arrested. Eventually, like, he smooths it over with the driver. So there's another guy who's driving too. He jumps in, he drives us like 100 meters down the road, parks up. And then eventually the driver comes back. So obviously he's paid off the police officer, smooths it all over, gets back in the bus, carries on driving. So I'm like, okay, that's over. And then when we're finally coming into Lima, and on like the final hurdle, there's like one last police checkpoint. But there's like one neighborhood you can go up into in the hills and like get around the checkpoint, right? So the bus turns off. Here's the thing though, all the local people in this community have all cottoned on to the fact that all the smuggle buses are going via their neighborhood. So literally every single little grandma or like local like bloke has like put up a little like blockade outside the house in front of the road, like a little barrier.
Yeah.
And they're just there taking money from every driver.
As they're going past.
As they're going past, just basically like they're lifting the barrier, taking money. So the driver's there just giving literally every single person just money as he goes through this neighborhood. Just so they're letting him through.
God.
So he drove up around this neighborhood, back to the main road. We've got past the police checkpoint at that point. Drove us into Lima, down some like random road. Right, you're all done, get out. And we will just get left there and then off to our own devices, made it to Lima. And then I was able to fly home from there.
Oh my God.
But I didn't even want to get on a smuggle bus. Here's the thing, like when I got back...
It was an accident.
It was an accident. I got back and I was like telling everyone the story because everyone knows what I'm like. Everyone was like, classic Alex.
Yeah.
You know, you just wanted to do something crazy. And I was like, no. Actually, I just wanted to get home that time. I thought it was a legit
I was tired.
Yeah, I was tired. Yeah, so that was a fun time. But it's stuff like this. It's you always get stories like this in South America. Yeah. Like that sounds like really wild to people who haven't spent a lot of time there. But it's not that weird if you've really spent a lot of time somewhere like South America. Stuff like that happens all the time.
It does. I mean, we were having a conversation earlier about the difficulty when returning home and talking to old friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, like a lot of people that have a very different lifestyle, they think you're showing off, or they think you are flexing, or you know, trying to prove a point when you say what you've been up to for the last 6 months whenever you last saw them.
Yeah,
but actually you aren't. It's just what you've been doing. It's your job. But because a lot of people don't have that lifestyle of travel or adventure, they kind of see it as a not bad, like a negative. I don't know if that's a UK thing. Like, you see, when I think about any degree of success in America, they go, fucking congratulations, that's awesome. You see the car that guy's driving, that's amazing. Incredible work. Canadians are the same. They really celebrate success.
They hype you up.
They hype you up for it. They want you to be successful. In the UK, people...
They drag you down. They don't like it.
And not everyone's like that.
No.
But a lot of people do not like success.
They don't.
Or they like you doing well, but not as better than them. You know, and it's this really weird kind of shift in mindset that I only experienced that it was weird when I left the UK. I was like, wow, the people in the UK that are saying that I shouldn't do photography and videography and that I shouldn't really travel and that I should do this and that actually it's just the culture is kind of not great. There's a lot of great to it, but that specifically, the negative connotations of success in the UK, I can't remember where I was going with that, but it's really weird. It's like a really weird shift. Did you find when you traveled, you kind of enjoyed the differences in cultures? And that's primarily what drove it.
100%. So leaving the UK, moving to, like I said, moving to Canada, like experiencing that more positive, younger kind of mental attitude. People stay younger for longer. They have more zest for life, and it's much more like a positive outlook in North America in general, you know? I really appreciated that. And it is hard. I mean, having experiences like, you know, getting smuggled across Peru illegally, you know, doing stuff like that, you know, and then coming back to the UK and especially going back to like a kind of your small hometown, it's very hard to talk to people about that stuff because they can't connect with it. Like that's it, you know, and
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. I thought I'd draw the parallel there. So it is tricky when you have all those experiences like that, the crazy stories, and you come home. And I remember the first time I experienced that, it was when I was 18. Me and my friends, we went and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Which was like the first big experience I had. So I was like hyped. I was so stoked. I got home from that and I was like going on about it to everyone, right? I was going crazy about it. And then everyone would just like look at me with this blank face, and then they'd want to talk about like what was on the EastEnders last night, or like, you know, the football, or like, you know, Auntie Doris's new washing machine or something. And I was like, am I losing my mind right now? Can you hear what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about like real cool stuff, and people just don't have that same frame of reference. They can't quite connect with it. So I quickly learned not to go into that stuff too much unless someone really asked and engaged, because people tend to take more of like a negative viewpoint. They have this attitude of just like, it's all right for some, isn't it? And look at you're just out there doing all that stuff, and it can be very negative. It's tricky. It's tricky.
It's tricky to navigate it. It is really tricky, and I think that a lot of people, the reason that they lash out, especially on social media, right? Because like now that the YouTube channel is bigger, all the time, every video, there's bound to be 20 comments of like, you've got a shit hairline, you've got a big nose, you've got this. You know, I'm used to it's the game is the game. Social media is social media. YouTube's YouTube. You know, they never say that to you in person, but it opens you up to more attacks. And I think that the prospect of people that get angry or frustrated, it normally comes back to the fact that they are unhappy themselves. You know, they might be in a job that they see no way out of, and they've got to provide, and they never took that leap of faith when they could have, and now it's too late. And a lot of the time, I think that pent up anger, that's where it comes from. And people didn't take that leap of faith. You know, when you think of, I mean, you got into photography at like 26, but you described this process of, you know, you came home and you had more or less like £4 in your account. Like, right. I need to figure this out now. I was very privileged in the way that my mum and dad were, you know, they sent me to a great school. I did shit in school, but I was very privileged in that sense. But there was a period over COVID when I thought, well, I failed all my exams. I dropped out of college. I'm kind of a failure in everything I do. So I need to figure out something that I'm good at.
Do something.
I need to do something. And that sense of the kind of desperation forced me, and it sounds like forced you to kind of take that leap of faith. But I feel like now, going back to your comfortability bubble, everyone is so kind of comfortable in that bubble then they never take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because they never quite get that uncomfortable.
No.
They're kept just above water.
Just above the level of
Yeah.
they're not happy.
No.
But they're also comfortable enough, and they're pacified enough that they won't take the action to change it, you know. And yeah, that's something I used to think about a lot, like the comfort bubble. Like I always think that if you don't do something which pushes against it, it will get smaller and smaller and smaller, and you get more and more afraid of the world, and all the things which you put off facing get scarier and scarier, until you shrink into nothingness. You know, your world gets smaller. So you have to do things. You have to do things to push back against that encroaching bubble, right? And like taking those leaps of faith, stepping out there, doing those things is a really important thing to do. And I think so many people don't do it because they're so used to being comfortable, because we do have very comfortable lives in general. And sometimes, like you said, like necessity really drives that change. So if you just take that leap of faith, put yourself in a position where you just have to like sink or swim, you have to make it work, which was kind of like when I left the factories and when I moved to Canada, was one of my thought processes there. It was like how I saw it was I wanted to reshuffle my hand. I wanted to re-deal my hand of cards. It used to be how I put it. It's like, scratch that. I'm done there. I'm just going to throw myself into just like, get rid of everything, start anew, throw myself into like whatever on my own, a foreign country, and just like make it work. So I just turned up with like a bag on my back. I managed to get a visa to work there. And I was like, okay, what now? Just something completely different, completely new. And that was the path, that was the beginning of the path that eventually led me into kind of the route that I've gone down. So yeah, necessity, I think throwing yourself into that is really important.
But the only way to get there is to be out with comfortability and be out with that comfortability bubble. I think failing publicly is something that a lot of people really struggle with.
Yeah.
The embarrassment.
Yeah.
And the what will my friends think, and the peer pressure of failing publicly drives people to a place of comfortability.
Yeah.
But if you can just push past that and know that if people are taking the piss out of you for trying something new and failing, they're not your fucking friends.
No, that's it.
You know what I mean? Like I had a group of friends when I was younger that took the piss out of me for doing photography.
Right.
They're no longer my friends.
Right.
And I figured out pretty quick
tells
my
you
real
who
friends.
Your real friends are, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when actually you fail so much that you begin to get good at something, all of a sudden your old friends want to talk to you again. It's weird.
It's funny how it works.
Funny how it works.
Everyone there crawls out the woodwork again.
Exactly. But I feel like that's what people a lot of the time miss, is that you need to fail publicly in order to get good at anything.
Yeah.
Everyone that
it doesn't
is good
even
at
have to be
something.
public. I mean, you can be seen to try something, but like I think it's something I still struggle with. Like failing publicly, it's not something I think I'm particularly good at by any means. But I feel like everything I've tried, I've at least done it somewhat in a more private way. It's not been super public, Because I think that's something I struggle with too. Failing publicly.
But there's certain things that you have to fail publicly at in order to public speaking.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in the car.
Yeah.
Perfect example. You were saying you do this as a job a lot of the time, so you're very good at public speaking, and you probably know how to navigate a crowd, and you can figure. I had to do it. I was fucking awful at it, but I pushed myself to do it.
That's it.
Because I know that I have to do it in order to get better, and it has to be something that I go into eventually.
You have to push against that comfort bubble, right? Like you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah. What would be your advice for if anyone's listening to this and they're listening to the comfort bubble and they want to get out of it? What would be your advice?
It's like, do the stuff that scares you, like push against that, do things that are uncomfortable. If there is something that you really want, you can make all the excuses in the world, but you've got to just put yourself out there and you've got to make it work, do it. Exposure helps, right? Exposing yourself to those scary things, to public speaking, something like that helps. Within the same vein, when I was when I moved to South America, obviously I was learning Spanish to get by there. And one of the biggest things that got in my way of learning Spanish was that I was so scared to embarrass myself. So I didn't want to speak. Like whenever there came an opportunity that I would actually have to speak Spanish, I would actually, like, if I knew the person spoke English, I would just always switch to English.
Right.
Because I was so like scared of making a fool of myself, and that was the biggest thing holding me back. And of course, how can I improve my Spanish if I don't actually speak it? So yeah, you have to get over, failing publicly and making a fool of yourself to improve. You know, it doesn't have to happen. But yeah, it's definitely something we struggle with. But yeah, just embrace it sometimes, you know, and that's how you improve.
And what do you think, taking a total U-turn, but this is something I'm interested in, what do you think makes a great landscape photo, in your opinion?
Oh, a good...
It's funny how you can have so many photographers, but they all have different styles.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it's them by...
Yeah.
There's certain things that they do. There's flicks of things that they add to their photo. There's editing styles. There's crushing the black, you know, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Like, in your opinion, what makes a good landscape photo?
A good journey to take it.
That's a good answer.
For me, for me personally, like landscape photography is about the journey, man. Like it's like, if you don't, I'll say this a lot, I think I've said it many times before, but if you don't absolutely love the process, man, just stay at home. Like if I did that 24-day trek in Nepal with the sole purpose of the only reason I'm doing this is to take this picture, I'm an idiot. No, I did it because I love doing it. Like, I do landscape photography. If you've got a great adventure that goes into it, then that makes that picture special. Like, all my favorite landscape pictures that I've taken, though might not technically be the best, though compositionally might not be the best, when I look at that and I remember that moment, I remember like the journey that went into getting there. I remember like traveling to this remote place for days, camping out overnight, hiking up to the top of this mountain, you know, sitting in these conditions, watching that landscape, watching the light change. If I could look at that image and remember all of that stuff, that is a successful image. That's the process. So yeah, there's like a very personal attachment for me for the images.
So would you say the more struggle for an image, the better
it
turns out to the person taking
you got to
it?
suffer for the art.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some ways, but you know, it's like that's a very personal thing. That's very much me looking at my own images, you know.
Yeah.
I think if you can look at somebody else's images and also appreciate the journey they went to get it, then that adds to it as well. You know, if they've got a great kind of journey. If someone literally, you go to like the waterfall in Glencoe, you pull over the car, you walk like 10 meters, you take the shot. It might be a technically great landscape photo.
Yeah. But it wasn't that difficult to get.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that detracts from it in a lot of ways. I mean, it's like, yeah, it makes a pretty picture, but like, give me suffering, man.
Yeah.
You know, give me the adventure that goes into it. And that's why I do it. It's like, because it takes me places, because I get to see cool things with my own eyes in real life, and I get to experience the journey of going there. And that's more important than any picture, any outcome.
I'm so glad you said that, because I'm so on board with it. The places that photography has taken me personally, and also you.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for photography.
No, yeah.
Like, we wouldn't have met Matty. We wouldn't have gone to Iceland. We wouldn't have gone to Skye before. We wouldn't have gone to Skye tomorrow.
No.
Like it takes you so many different places. Yeah, and it's the journey. It's the journey to get the photo. It's not the photo itself. Yeah. If you deleted all my images, I'd be pretty pissed off, but I'd still have the memories.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, the memories of waiting out in the fucking freezing cold, trying to do a time lapse of the stars, like
whilst all just dancing, trying to stay warm.
Yeah. -10. We're
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff you remember, and it brings
Yeah.
out, I think, a certain degree of the kid in you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
it's a sense of adventure. It's a sense of wonder, of just like, what does it look like? I want to see. I want to see what it looks like. I want to go there and yeah, see it from my own eyes.
Would you ever do film photography?
Film, I would like to. I like the idea. Yeah, I really like the idea of film. I was working on a ship middle of last year up in Svalbard, and the doctor on board, he was shooting film, and he had his own little DIY darkroom, like developing thing in his office.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he took me in and showed me. So he's like, right, I'm going to show you how I develop my film. So
he'd love to show you that as well, I bet. His
did,
wife was like, oh,
yeah, it was so cool. So he took me into the office, and then he'd just finished shooting a roll. So he took it and developed it and had it hung up in his doctor's office there. Super cool. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I would like to. I think I like the concept of it being very like a very tactile kind of process, you know. Yeah.
There's a photographer I was talking to him before, but I'll show you him at the moment.
Yeah.
Chris Spencer. Do you want more whiskey?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I might have a bit more as well. Chris Spencer Payne.
Yeah.
Or Chris Payne Spencer. No, Chris Spencer Payne, I'm sure. And he does film photography, and he's renowned now for doing film photography, and his stuff is stunning. Yeah. Oh, there's like a unique look to it. It's very hard to describe. He described it as nostalgia.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he's right.
It gives you a feeling, film.
It does. It brings back that primal thing that's in all of us. You look at it and you're reminded of, your parents and your grandparents and the adventures that they went on when they were younger.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me show you this guy's profile.
Yeah,
He's unbelievable. Shout out to Chris because you're awesome. He's called Grainy Boy.
Grain Boy, okay.
On Instagram, which is just awesome because he's a film photographer. So like, look at some of these. See the car shot just there?
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
All taken on film.
There's like, you know how people talk about like vinyl making a comeback? I almost say it's like, but the sound of vinyl, man, it's like, it's got that tone to it. It's got the richness and the warmth. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Like there's something about the quality, although it's like, and again, going back to like the concept of having the sharpest, cleanest photo and like the removal of like soul from an image. This is the revival of soul,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Having film is soul. It's not going to be the sharpest. It's not going to be the cleanest, but like it's got like character to it. Oh, it's beautiful.
Character is the way to say it. And he did this. He's an amazing guy, and he's so funny, and we talked for hours. And he actually got a camera that had a slightly fucked lens. Yeah. And he specifically bought that one because he liked the way that the light came through it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he bought a broken lens.
Yeah, I've heard people doing this,
and I was like, that's amazing.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, that's like, so cool.
I know people who like they'll shop deliberately for like vintage, like old, like specific, super quirky, like Russian vintage lenses from a certain year that just had this like really weird quirk to it.
Yeah.
Like, but it was something about it that looked really cool,
Yeah. And it makes it unique. And I think in an age where everything's becoming so clean and clinical, aperture of 1.2 and, these nut stats on cameras, you can dual pixel ISO and go to like, 128,000 ISO and pretty much seeing these nut stats. What makes your image unique and better than others? Yeah. And I think a lot of the time the uniqueness comes from vintage flares or doing something in the edit that not many people have done.
This all goes back to, again, like the process being more important, like the actual moment. Yeah. Like it's not about the outcome. It's not about the technical aspects of the picture. It's about like what went into taking that picture. What was the moment that led up to that? What was the adventure that went into that? All the technical stuff, the pixel peeping, man, like forget it.
Yeah.
It's more important things.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I'm glad you said that as well, because there's so many people that will be listening to this, especially because a lot of people kind of hop from my Instagram.
Yeah.
And they're all into photography. And a lot of them, I do believe, will look at the newest, Canon or the newest drone. And I need 6.4K resolution to blah, blah, blah. You don't. You really don't. If you want to hear, a prime example of this, Sam Calder shoots on like a Mavic Mini 2, maybe.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's one of the best videographers in our niche. In terms of travel, he's one of the best. Yeah. And he knows that it doesn't actually matter that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, you want quality, but does it matter that much?
There's a certain level, past a certain point, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I mean, I get this a lot because where I'm teaching photography, I'm getting people coming in asking about like photography gear. Everyone kind of thinks that I'm going to be like a guru on like photography tech, and like the latest stuff. And I'm so bad at it because I'm not a tech person. Like I'm not into the technical stuff. I'm not into the pixel peeping and this. I'm about like the process of photography. I'm about getting out there and getting the moment, So I go through this a lot with the people who come to me to learn. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Every picture that you've seen to this point, every famous photo, every powerful image that's moved you has been taken with a less technologically advanced camera than the basic ones you have right now. Yeah. Like, you got to remember that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a guy, I'm trying to remember his name at the moment. It's really annoying me that I can't remember it. He was super, super famous. He took photos of David Bowie. Okay. He was his personal photographer.
Right, yeah.
And he took, oh my God, what was his name? He came to an event with Raymond Vale. I'll look him up. An unbelievable photographer,
Yeah.
like multiple award-winning photographer, and he was getting cancer treatment when he was at the event. So the fact he even made it to the event, I was like, what a guy. He's unfortunately passed now, but he was giving a speech about his photos, and it came to the Q&A bit, and someone put up their hand and said, what's the best camera to use if I want to get into photography? And he goes, whatever is in your hand.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, but it's only my phone, it's not good enough. He went, well,
use the phone.
Yeah, use the phone. He was like, the only reason that I got good photos is because I was in the right place at the right time in the right
The
circumstances.
most important thing is getting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And get there.
Yeah.
And he said, I was mingling in circles that I knew would be good circles to take photos. And that, I didn't have the best camera. It was all right. Maybe it came with time when I'd started doing proper photo shoots, but I was in the right place.
Yeah.
What was his
So
name?
much more important. Yeah, it's a classic saying: "Is the best camera is the one you have with you."
Yeah.
And again, like I would teach, like often I'd do a bit of like smartphone photography classes when I'm working on a ship, and that's the way I start the class. Literally, is like asking the guests, "What is the best camera?" And I will say, "No, it's the one you have with you." And I'll say, because the most important thing it's getting out there. It's being in the place where the things are happening, being in the moment where you want to capture things. That is the most important thing.
Exactly.
Fancy camera gear, man, doesn't matter that much.
It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. I can't remember this bloody. That's so annoying that I can't remember this guy's name. I'll put the gentleman's name on the screen at the moment. I can't believe that. As soon as I see the photo as well, he got the photo of David Bowie. You know the photo with the dog. So he was talking about.
Oh.
He was talking about this photo.
Okay, yeah.
You know what they did to the dog in this photo?
What do they do?
They gave the dog Coke.
No.
Yeah. He said they were taking tons of Coke and trying to figure out Terry O'Neill. So I think because Terry O'Neill was getting cancer treatment and he was coming to the twilight of his life.
Yeah.
He thought, fuck, I'll just tell it. And he said, me and David were sitting there taking a bunch of cocaine, thinking, how can we get a creative photo? And there was a dog there. And we thought, why don't we give the dog Coke? And they gave the dog Coke and got that photo.
That's insane.
Isn't that
That's insane.
unbelievable?
Yeah.
How cool is that? That is just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Imagine being with David Bowie and being like,
doing coke.
give the dog Coke.
Give the dog coke.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So cool. So cool. I mean, it's a
That's
different
insane,
type of photography than we do.
Yeah.
But you can understand how it happens.
Yes.
That pop
And
culture.
there's a story that went behind it, and there's a moment there,
Yeah.
for sure, and it's made it unique.
100%. Terry O'Neill, anyone that's listening, definitely look him up. His photography is stunning, unbelievable. And again, right place, right time. He was in the correct position.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's it.
It goes into it, man.
Yeah.
It's special.
So you wouldn't do film, or you would do film. What kind of camera would you go for?
I've not looked enough into it.
You not?
I've not given it a thought yet. Yeah. I've not done my research.
Because this is broken. We got this from a vintage shop. I actually use it as a prop, but it's like an old vintage film camera. And I fucking love the look of it. Have a look.
It's lovely, isn't it? There's something so nice about these.
Yeah.
Man.
And it's
Like, just the
actually
feel
metal
of it.
instead of plastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's broken. It's just a prop, but
Sure. Yeah.
that would be the kind of thing.
It's so nice. Like I love it's so tactile. There's so much to feel, It's like reading a real book as opposed to reading a Kindle,
That's
you know what
great.
I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so like old school. Like I refuse. I still buy paper books just because I like the feel of it. I like the smell of the paper. Like it's
fold
tangible.
the page when you hit that point and you want to.
I'm not a savage, mate.
Do you not do that?
Fold my pages. No, you can't
Oh,
do
I
that to
do
a
that.
book.
I've been doing that
You
with
shouldn't do it.
somebody else's
Get
book.
a bookmark, mate. Literally anything. Bit of paper.
Oh dear.
Don't ruin your books.
I'm gonna give you that book I'm gonna give you that book and you're gonna hate me. This is gonna be folds
Folds
all over.
everywhere. My dad used to do that all the time. He'd always fold his pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you read when you travel? Or do you try to?
I try to. I usually bring a book with me when I travel,
Sure.
but often I get wrapped up in the trip.
In the
But I
actual
usually do have a book with me. I tend to find I do my most reading when I'm like in like a routine. So if I'm at work, for example, I'll find I get into a book in the evening, or when I'm off work and I've got like some downtime, then I'll usually have a good routine like in the morning. So like right now I'm off work, so I'm kind of spending time at home. So I'll get up in the morning and then that'll be like my reading time. I'll go to the cafe and I'll have like a good hour each day to read. So I'm in like a good reading routine.
Yeah.
But it's like a habitual thing. It's like a routine thing. I'm very much a creature of habit. So whether that be good habit, bad habit, I try and maintain the good ones and get into a routine of those positive things.
How is it being a creature of habit when your life is quite
so
unpredictable?
chaotic? Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's you find habits and routine within the chaos. You make it work somehow.
You're talking to the guy that understands.
Right. Like it is chaotic in like an overarching chaos, but like within the overarching chaos, there's little moments.
There's little
pockets of routine that occur. You know.
Yeah.
You make it work.
Yeah, because I think that scares a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of people that are very structured and I can't travel because I won't go to the gym and then it knocks me out of this and it knocks me out of that. Yeah. But realistically, it's not. You can do these things from abroad.
You can. It's hard.
It's harder.
It's hard.
But you still can. Like, for example, one of the most remote places I've been is Sulawesi, and it's because it doesn't have any tourist infrastructure, really. It's very remote. You know, toilets, holes in the ground. Yeah. Go for a run.
Yeah.
You can. Just make sure you do it in the morning before it's too hot. You know, there's certain things you can do.
Yeah, if you really want to, you can make it work.
Exactly. You can make it work.
But it's also priorities. Like if you really want to get out and do those things, then like you want to travel, you want to change it up, you want to live like a slightly different life, then you just have to put aside the routine a little bit. You know,
sure.
You have to get rid of it and just put it away for a bit and do something different. You know.
What's the most valuable lesson you've learned on your travels?
Oh, most valuable lesson that I've learned. It's a good question.
We've just switched back into podcast Harrison.
Yeah.
Drunk podcast Harrison.
The thing is, I'm a very like slow thinker as well. Like I'm not very good at like if someone asks me a question off the cuff, like I have to really ponder it for a long time. Like I chew on things a long time. I have to really consider it. So like that's a very deep question, and I would have to really consider the most valuable lesson that I've learned.
See, that's the opposite to me. I think when I'm asked things, or when I'm filming, I can short term flip things around fast.
Really? Yeah. No, I really have to think about it. Yeah, it takes me time. I mean, it's probably to do with like just resourcefulness and just kind of rolling with the punches and just dealing with what, you know, when you're in a point where you don't have any control of what's going on, you know, you just have to roll with it and work with what you got. And you learn to be flexible, you learn to be adaptable in whatever situation, you know, whether I'm out there hitchhiking around or you know, living on the ship and then going to operations in Antarctica or something. Like flexibility, resourcefulness, good skills to have, I would say.
And where to next?
I'm heading to Japan.
That's
soon.
Pretty fucking
It's
exciting.
going to be cool. Yeah, that's my first time there, so it's just a quick trip. It's going to be fun though.
Do you have specific photos that you want to get? Or do you not go into it with that kind of...
I'm not going into it with like a really photography focused kind of approach.
Because it's more of a personal...
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I'll take a couple of pictures out there, but nothing specific. So I've got that coming up, but like nothing else major at the moment. So I mean, I'll be back to Antarctica at the end of the year for next Antarctic season.
Kazakhstan.
Mate,
I'm not even kidding.
I'm up for it, honestly, man.
Like genuinely, because I've been talking about it for ages, and I normally, with a lot of things, I'll kind of talk about it, and then it gets to a point where I'm just like, I'm just booking it. I just end up just booking it.
One of the most important things, right? And like for anyone listening, right? If you want to like do a trip, if you've been talking about it for ages, and you're just like, I want to do it, and you know you get to that point where you're talking about doing a trip, just book the flight.
Yeah.
Just book the flight.
Everything
and the
falls
rest
into
will
place.
follow.
Yeah,
like
it all falls into place.
Dude, the amount of times I've been like pondering, I've been like circling the bloody drain, like on a trip for so long, like going like, when am I going to go down? Like when am I going to do it? And it's like you get to a point where it's like, if I suck it up right this moment, right now, book the flights, the rest happens. Like so, it's like the best bit of advice for anyone who wants to just pull the trigger and go do something. Like book the flights and make it work.
I'm so with you, and I think that's a huge deterrent to people. I think, you see, as you get older, your tolerance for uncomfortability goes down.
Yeah.
And I remember the one thing that I disagreed with my parents on, because I love my parents, but there's one thing that I disagreed with them on. And they said, you should work as much as you can now so that you can travel when you're older.
Yeah.
And I said, no, because when I'm older,
You're not going to be
I'm not going to want to.
healthy, or anything can happen. Maybe you won't be
Exactly.
able-bodied. Maybe
I won't be around.
Maybe you won't make it to being older.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
genuinely. And so I was saying, no. I'm not going to do a 36-hour flight to Sulawesi, central Sulawesi, when I'm 50 or 60. There's no way. My back's fucked as it is, and I'm 28.
You've got to do it now whilst you can.
You got to do it now.
100%.
And these people that it frustrates me. That you've got so much time. You've got no time. It's been 4 years since I've seen you.
Yeah.
And it's fucking gone like that.
Flown by.
And it's so weird. It's gone like that. And the older I get, the faster time goes. Yeah. And the more you have on. And then responsibilities start stacking up. You get family, and it will go faster. So the fact that people think that they have time, they don't.
No.
Book it now.
Do it.
Do it.
Book the trip if you want to do
Take
it.
the plunge.
Yeah.
Do it.
Pull the
What's
trigger.
the worst that could happen? You
Yeah.
have to cancel your flights, get a refund.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got a refund. If you do, you're so right. It was like us when we'd never met. We were talking about booking Iceland.
Yeah.
One of us took the hit and just booked a flight.
And then the rest followed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
We've already, we've ripped the plaster off.
Yeah. We've got to make it work now.
Yeah.
That's
we've got to figure out the rest later.
Yeah.
But it is about that, just taking the plunge. And I think that, a lot of people just struggle with that.
Yeah.
They really struggle with the fact that the unknown, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think that's it?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, everyone's scared of the unknown, but that's also very exciting too. I think that's, for me, it's a big draw.
Yeah,
the unknown. Like I like going on a trip and not knowing what's going to happen. I don't like planning. Like, man, I hate planning.
You're the same as me.
It's like I can plan a bit. Like, I'll maybe if I'm going to a new place, I'll book like the first couple of days in. I'll book a hotel or a hostel or something.
Yeah.
And after that, I just like to blow it wide open and just be like, well, what happens now? Like, who am I going to meet? Where's that going to lead me? Like, I did a trip to Indonesia a few years ago now, and like booked a hostel in Jakarta. I was like, that's all I've got booked. Had a sort of rough idea what I wanted to do, but really didn't know. So I got to the hostel, got chatting with this guy from Belgium. He's like, oh, I've got a mate in Flores who's just booked a boat trip around Komodo. Do you want to join? I was like, yeah, okay. So literally we booked flights for the following day to get to Flores. And next thing I know, I'm on the boat with this like group of awesome people just going around Komodo National Park for a few days. And then that completely changed the whole nature of my trip. And then I met some other people there, and then that led me somewhere else, and ended up, having this awesome adventure, Yeah. The thing is, if you book everything up, you're stuck on this one timeline, this path, and you can't deviate, and you can't make the most of those last minute opportunities and make the most of it. And that's real travel. That's proper. That's where the good stuff happens, man.
And being in control of your time.
Yeah.
I think I feel so bad saying this. Like I really, really do. And it's not that I'm unappreciative at all. I'm so, so lucky. But quite recently we went on a cruise. It was my brother's 30th. So we went on a cruise. It was amazing spending time with the family. It was a really beautiful cruise. It really was.
Where'd you go?
We went to Greenland.
Lovely. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Incredible. So Iceland, Greenland. But the issue was the weather, and we couldn't really get off the boat very much. So over 2 weeks, I think we got off the boat twice. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I really struggled because I was not in control of my time. Normally when I go to these places, you'll be the same.
Yeah.
I like this place. I'm going to spend an extra couple of days here.
Yeah. You want to be able to go slow if you want to.
Yeah. Or go fast if you don't like the place.
Yeah.
If you go to a place and you think, this really isn't for me, I'm kind of struggling here, you can fast forward it like a remote.
Yeah.
But a cruise,
you are very much
organized fun.
Yeah.
You're going to go here for an hour. You're going to fucking smile about it.
So there's a lot of benefit. And I've got to say this because I work on cruise ships, right?
A lot of benefits. No, I'm with you.
There's a lot of good things to it.
Sure.
Because there are some places I think, especially when it's like expedition cruising, which is what I work on. So smaller expedition vessels, and we specialize in going to remote places like Greenland, like Antarctica, Svalbard, all these kinds of amazing places. And these are places that aren't really accessible any other way.
Yeah,
you have to go
do something
via
like this.
boat.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to get to some places, And I think you can't be as independent with your time, but it opens up like so much for you as well, Yeah, but yeah, definitely not for everyone. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be as independent, and I'm like you. I like to have that independent travel.
It's tricky. But then also at the same time, I understand for older people, it's a lot more comfortable.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know, I agree with that. You know, so
Yeah, not everyone is like us and wants to just like fly
Yeah.
off into the middle of nowhere and just
exactly
see what happens.
You know,
Yeah.
prime example, when we went to Iceland, we'd booked a van, and the plan was to just go around a road
Yeah.
for a week.
Yeah.
We had no plan.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
What's the plan? There's a circle.
and we're gonna follow it.
We're gonna follow
and
it.
see what happens.
Where to next then? Where do you think? If you had to pick,
Where do I want to go to?
where would you want to go to next?
Okay, I'm really keen to get into China. Like really keen to get into China. I want to get back into Nepal a bit as well and see more of that. Like I want to
Yeah.
get into more like the west of Nepal. And I really want to get more into like North India. So like I'd love to get into like Ladakh, for example, in India, which looks just absolutely incredible. It's like it's like going to Tibet without going to Tibet. You know, it looks just awesome. So like super keen on that kind of area. Oh man, there's so many places. More of Central Asia. Like we talked about Kazakhstan would be really cool. That's been on the list for a while. Everyone's going to Kyrgyzstan at the moment.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of my friends have gone there. Yeah,
Kyrgyzstan looks really cool.
it does look good. The
Yeah.
glaciers look unbelievable.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's very off-roady. That there's no real roads. It's more like a guy just goes,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Good adventure though.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of places.
Yeah.
A lot of places.
Final question.
Yeah.
And this is just, I've asked quite a few guests this, but I think it's quite apparent, at least from where I'm sitting in your life. Would you say you're driven to do what you do, or you're dragged by something that you're running from?
Driven or running away from something.
It's a lot of,
Ooh. I think I'd be lying if I didn't say there was an element of running away from something. You know, given I've told you the story of how it all started, and I was very, you know, it started from a point where I didn't want to be where I was, and I wanted to stay away from that. So I think there's always been an element of just like kind of trying to outrun something in my life, like you know, or somewhere that I didn't really want to be. But there's definitely a very strong pull from the front as well. You know, there's the pull for adventure, for more experience, for just seeing beauty in the world. You know, I mean, that was one of the things that I've always credited as one of my biggest sort of motivators. Is I just became obsessed with natural beauty after I moved to Canada. So like, you know, going from my hometown in the UK, moving to Banff in the Canadian Rockies, all of a sudden, like, you know, I was just like surrounded by some of the most pristine wilderness in the world. And I got obsessed with it. Like I got obsessed. It was like I wanted to keep it for myself, which is also kind of one of the reasons I started taking photos. For me, it was like this kind of chasing of like natural beauty. So that's always been one of these like things I've been chasing, is just natural beauty, beautiful places, experiences, things like that, you know. Yeah.
how do you think people can connect more to that? Because I think that in a life that is becoming more and more and more and more and more and more and more unnatural, people are getting their dopamine from screens, phones, fucking porn. You know what I mean? It's anything that...
Switch it off, man. Like switch it off and step outside, touch grass.
touch a tree.
Touch a tree.
Figure it out.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, I think it's definitely hard in the UK because if you, again, some places we have lots of natural beauty. People are very connected with the natural environment. We have some lovely areas, but we have lots of places and lots of people in those places that don't really have access to that. Like their idea of nature is like farmers' fields.
Yeah.
Which isn't very inspiring. It's kind of like, it's what I had. Like I didn't really have this concept of like natural beauty or like the wonder of the world until then I went to Canada, and it was like, wow, this is what the world can look like.
You get like vertigo looking at the mountains.
Yeah, it just blew my mind, man. It was incredible. So I think try to go somewhere where you can be inspired and we can connect with that nature, because it's out there and it's real, and it feels like we're so disconnected from it because we aren't confronted with it much. And it's very hard to feel connected and to want to kind of, you know, say protect something or something that you love if you haven't actually seen it in real life, if you've just seen it on a TV, you know. It's like people that we bring to Antarctica, for example. You know, you can watch every documentary you want on Antarctica, but if you go there and you look at those glaciers and you see the wildlife and you experience that, it motivates people to want to protect it and to become, ambassadors for that. And I think that's really important to experience. It doesn't have to be as far as Antarctica. That's a hard place to get to. But
Iceland. That's narrow.
go to Iceland. Go somewhere beautiful. Go somewhere that's different, that you've not seen before, and just learn kind of like what's out there. Because people, if you don't know what's out there, no one tells you. How do you know? You've got to be curious, and you've got to explore. Yeah.
Yeah. Curiosity.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Definitely.
Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram a lot at Alex Visuals, but without the E, so it's ALXX Visuals.
Did someone else have the Alex?
Yeah, someone had the Alex, so I had to change that one a little bit. Yeah, that's me. That's probably where I post mostly, is just like Instagram, but yeah, that's where you can find me.